If the liberals are good at anything, it's presenting their radical agenda in a way that sounds very appealing to the masses. Unfortunately for us, they've sucked in many in Congress. I'm Robin Kinderman, and you're watching JBS Straight Talk. The Equality Act, an amendment to the 1964 Civil Rights Act, was approved by the House of Representatives on July 19th. Even though the Civil Rights Act was widely applauded, this amendment, H.R. 5, aka the Equality Act, will turn the idea of civil rights on its head. For instance, it adds sexual orientation and gender identity to the current list of sex, race, religion, disability, and national origin that businesses, schools, and churches cannot discriminate against. According to a recent TNA article, H.R. 5, if passed, would amend the Civil Rights Act to prohibit discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity in employment, housing, and public accommodations and public education. Alliance Defending Freedom says it poses a devastating and unprecedented threat to religious freedom. Civil rights cases are constantly being ruled on each year. Remember the 2017 case of the Colorado baker refusing to bake wedding cakes for same-sex couples? More recent cases are of church officials being fined and threatened with jail time for refusing to perform same-sex marriages or preaching anti-gay sermons. What happened to freedom of religion, freedom of association, and freedom of speech? And why would you want to receive a service from someone who doesn't agree with or believe in what you're doing? The Act also identifies unequal opportunities for LGBTQ people to establish credit, citing that they can experience being denied a mortgage, credit card, student loan, or many other types of credit simply because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. Really? Where are these examples? What lender is refusing leftist services? Because we can point to some big credit card companies and card processors that have discriminated against gun makers and gun sellers. And yet another section states that LGBTQ people are economically disadvantaged and at a higher risk for poverty compared with other groups of people. Where's the proof? If this sounds outrageous, it's only the tip of the iceberg. Imagine what other ramifications will happen because of these special privileges needed in the private sector for sexual orientation and gender identity. Perhaps when your church is seeking its next pastor, you'll be forced to hire an atheist or someone who is gay or transsexual. As you can see, the Equality Act is less about equality and more about the federal government, specifically the liberal left and the deep state, getting their grubby little fingers into areas that it has no business being in. H.R. 5 is no act of equality, but many Democrats are supporting it. For instance, Joe Biden has been reported as saying the Equality Act will be his top priority if he is elected president. It's time to make all Americans aware of this dangerous legislation. Please take action by contacting your representative, senators, and President Trump by phone and email in opposition to H.R. 5 and S-788. It's important to contact Trump, because if both houses pass this legislation, he'll have the opportunity to veto it. Until next time, take care and God bless.